Cool. We are live. We do this every Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time and 6 a.m. California time. Yes, it is 6 a.m. Rajiv ji is with us. We are Men in Black today. Rajiv ji is our immigration lawyer, and we do have a lot of questions. And we're trying this different thing, which is webinar mode. So, Rajiv ji, for us, it's no difference. It feels the same, but for audience, it should feel slightly different. They are like part of this meeting, so we'll see how it works. They get to like ask the question much bigger than YouTube. So, all right,
Well, all I care about is looking pretty. As
you
long as
look
we've got
very
that covered,
you look very pretty.
thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
uh, any new latest update other than H1B third lottery is not happening?
Yeah, that one is closed. But well, one of the questions people have been asking me is what happens? I get about 40 questions a day just on LinkedIn. And
Hmm.
one good thing about LinkedIn is that you can dictate a voice message. If I
Yeah.
had to type them all out with two fingers, it would not happen. So I've been telling people that pending H1Bs don't get affected by this. So
Hmm.
don't panic because this has no impact on your case that has already been selected and filed. Okay. So that's the only thing that was the big panic since we saw that notice from the
Oh,
USCIS.
right. Yes. Yeah. 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 I got the same question. Like, what
Did you?
happens if my H1B is under processing? And I was like,
Yeah.
well, we'll cover this on Saturday too. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Uh,
that was the big question of the week. Immediately, people were panicking, and I understand. It's a little different for you and I, Yuri.
hmm.
Things because once you have a career trajectory and you have your immigration status all set up and sorted
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
otherwise there's so much uncertainty, and
Yeah.
little by little, baby steps, government has been trying to remove the damage of the uncertainty, but I don't think we are there yet.
Right. Yep. Agreed. Okay, cool. I was thinking, so there are again this part of this process is like people can pre-send the question. So I'm trying to figure out how to get that, but we'll just get what we have right now. Here we go. I'm from India, currently a master student in Germany. I'm about to graduate, and I'm trying to get a job in US. I understand this is a difficult scenario for me, but can it be done?
So, Prahlad, getting the job is a different issue, but getting the proper visa is another issue. So, even if you get a job, you have to go through the H1B process. And that's a lottery that is conducted once a year. And your chances are far below 50%. Okay.
Mhm.
So, it's not so much an issue that you can find a job or not, but the visa is a bigger issue. However, if you get a job that is quota exempt, then you have no issues. So quota exempt jobs come in four flavors. One flavor is if the job is at a federal or state research facility. Federal is difficult, state is easier. Or the job is at a non-profit research, any kind of research. And remember, you don't have to be a researcher, but the institution has to be. You could be a database
Mhm.
admin, okay, or a developer. Third is institutions of higher learning. So any school, colleges that offer associate's degree or above are considered to be institutions of higher learning. And the last one is institutions affiliated, nonprofit institutions affiliated with institutions of higher learning. That's typically, in my experience, a lot of schools. So
Hmm.
school teachers often get quota exemption. So the problem is not so much whether you can find a job. That's a UD question. But legally, UD is the guy who finds jobs. Me, I do my job.
Yeah. You help once we have the job.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, yeah, I mean, from a job perspective or industry perspective, it's right now the market is rough, and I don't think they're gonna hire someone from Germany versus someone from United States. That's my take. All right. So it Unfortunately, with this new thing, they don't have the names with because the name is in the registration. So anyway, here we go.
Do we care
So
about the name? I mean, we can
no,
answer the question anonymously,
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah,
not a
yeah.
problem. First of all, opening an LLC and running a business are two different things. Anyone can open an LLC, but
Yeah.
can anyone run business? That depends upon their situation. So I hope that answers your question.
Yep. Um, okay. My wife got two jobs on initial OPT, but both are full time jobs. And she wanted to know what are the main things she needs to keep in mind while maintaining her status. And can she have dual benefits from both company and generate two W-2s? Ooh,
Yeah,
nice.
absolutely. None of this is a problem. But make sure that the DSO knows, because it's always a good idea to keep the DSO in the know, and they might need to update your service entries. Okay. Um, more one more thing that I would be, you can have double benefits, double sell. That is great, no problem at all. The only thing I
Mm,
would be concerned about is if you are violating any contractual commitments, which is not really my field. But
mm,
you should make sure that you're not, because you can be sued for that. So if you have, for example, signed an employment contract, which is rare, but it can happen, that you will exclusively perform services for XYZ employer, then if you're working for ABC employer, that's a violation of your contractual responsibilities.
yeah. Yep. Yep. Okay. It's not me.
I know, that's what I was looking at.
I recently graduated with Masters of Finance in May. I work in university as a financial analyst. I want to start my accounting business here.
That's not true. On first year OPT, you could start your own business. But the problem is the moment you hit H1B or STEM OPT, you cannot.
Mm,
So, under the proposed regulations, you would have a lot more flexibility doing an H1B for your own company. But currently, it is possible only if you are a minority stockholder in your company to have an H1B for your own company in which you have minority stock. Um,
mm,
but even that is not always advisable. That has its own issues. So somebody should take a look at your situation specifically. If you're a small company or you're just organizing a company, it will be very difficult for you to justify an H1B for your own company. What is the problem? The problem is H1Bs are reserved for employer-employee relationships, right? So when you are the master and you are the servant, and you are the employer and you are the employee because you are the majority stockholder, it becomes very difficult to determine how you are an employee rather than an owner. Okay. One way around that is that you have an independent board of directors who can fire you. But
mm.
that's not guaranteed. And the way USCIS looks at it and the way consulates look at it is radically different. So if you go for a visa stamping, you could be stuck forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's wait and
It,
see how the regulations clarify when they get implemented. But in the meantime, on first year of OPT, you could start your own business. But then how would you continue it? That's the problem.
yeah, you can that person like hire people and then just
Yeah.
not, but
Yeah.
then they also cannot manage those people too because
Yeah, you
then
can't manage. On top of that, if you do an H1B for your own company, you run into that whole set of issues that I talked about. So
mm,
it's complex right now. I would avoid it. Of course, if you are from other countries, you might have options like E2 visa. So E2 is treaty investor. You invest 100,000, 150,000. You have a visa that can be extended forever. You don't
mm,
get a green card directly, but what you do is once you have an E2 visa, for example, Canadian citizens, most of the European countries, Pakistan, Bangladesh, a lot of these countries have E2 visas.
mm,
So I would say the sweet spot is maybe 150,000. We've done E2s with even less amount. But once you invest that money, that gets you an E2, which is good for 3 years and can be extended indefinitely as long as you're managing your investment. And your spouse gets a work authorization also. So what we do is and we've done this many times in the past, that let's say I bought an asset for 300,000. Okay.
Hmm.
And I made money, I paid taxes, I put the money back in. When that money reaches the EB5 investment amount, I can apply for EB5 from E2 to EB5.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Wow. I know it is recommended to consult DSO Career Center of school being an international student before volunteering in any non-profit while studying. But if the school does not allow, can one student still volunteer on his behalf?
No, I would be very careful with that. The school can consider that to you. If you break the school rules, they'll say you're out of status. They are in charge of your service.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
But what happens if it is like an open source project and you are contributing to that?
That's a very fuzzy arrangement, right? That's not really something. It's almost like learning something by yourself. The DSO cannot stop you from doing that. But
Hmm.
any kind of an internship arrangement, and this is like a not a clear cut line.
Right.
The more independent, unstructured it is, the more probably acceptable it is. I think it is the structure and the formalization of the arrangement as an internship that creates problems.
Hmm. Mm. Got it. Yeah, like you could be taking a course from a Coursera, which is Google Analytics course, and they have a project, and
Yeah,
that, yeah.
exactly. Are you getting paid by Coursera?
No, no, I am not. I'm not. I'm actually taking their UX course. It's pretty good, actually. I like it. Um, Yeah, I'm taking Google's UX course. Anyway, I wanted to ask you a question. What is the best course of action for a student after completing his 4 years undergrad degree and has a 5 year of F1 visa?
Well, I mean, that depends upon, Kabir, that depends upon what your goals are. If you
Mm,
want to go into master's and then PhD, then of course that's the way to go. If you're asking about curricular practical training in a master's degree, that is also possible. But I don't know what your goals are. That's a very open ended question.
yeah. Hello, sir. My H1B petition, it was approved as status change as it was approved when my I-94 was valid. Will there be any issues with status change after 90 days of entering US if I enter US on B2?
Okay, this is absolutely unclear. I have no idea what this question means.
Yeah.
So there are so many loose ends in this question. If H1B
Mhm.
was approved as status change, were you in the United States? If you were, then you are on H1B. And if you enter on B2, you don't automatically become H1B holder.
You
That
have to
doesn't
get a
work.
stamp.
There are
Yeah.
too many. You have to either get a stamp or apply for a change of status again, which is like refiling the H1B, although it is
Mm,
not subject to the lottery. So, uh, Sridevi ji, this is a question that I cannot answer in the form that you asked.
yeah. What should a person working on OPD first year do when F1 expires? Does he or she needs to get it extended from?
I'm almost 100% sure what you mean is if your F1 visa expires. So understand everyone, understand this. No matter what your visa type is, it is not required that your visa be extended. Visa is a stamp on the passport, right? What is required is your status, which is often shown by your I-94, remain
Mm,
valid. So you could have an F1 that visa expired 3 years ago, but you have been extending your status by going to different programs, let's say masters and then PhD. Uh, then you are not out of status, even though your visa is gone. You need the visa only when you come back to the US after a foreign visit. So if you are going to
mm.
go outside USA and come back, then you will need to first go get your visa and come back.
Interesting. I love that. One funny one. There are ugly sweaters.
Some people need ugly sweaters. We are ugly inside the sweater. So, and
Oh,
by the way, I forgot to put the right blade on yesterday. And
it's
yesterday I needed my hair more than any other time because I was going to be in a formal meeting. And then I was like, oh, screw it. It's not in my control.
I thought this was just like you like, okay, I'm gonna try a new haircut. So
No. Um, See, there's supposed to be all these blades that go into your shaver, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I had the wrong blade, and I
Hmm.
only realized it once I caught a swath. All of a sudden, there was all this hair gone. I was like, okay.
Oh no. Hi, Jaya. She just says hi. Um, all right. I have H1B approved under consulate option, and change of status is not done currently. I'm an OPT. Can I change my employer if a new employer agrees to do the change of status and H1B transfer? Ooh, interesting.
So we've discussed this issue before in various forms. It's just the same question in a different situation. So I've said this before. USCIS has, as a policy matter, said to us in various meetings that unless you get a change of status
Hmm.
or you get visa stamping on your passport, you're not out of the lottery yet. Okay. But and I think that is really against the plain language of the regulations. Regulations talk about approval. They don't talk about adjustment of status or visa stamping. Okay.
Hmm.
So whatever it is, that's what they say in public. But really, what they do is they've been giving us approvals. We've done many, many approvals in this situation. So, what would I suggest to you? Try it. I think it'll work.
Hmm. Okay. I ended my CPT one day one CPT before the actual CPT authorization ended. I was not able to amend it. Did I break any rule on the USCIS end? University is okay with it. CPT has to end on Saturday. I ended it on Friday.
Yeah, I think it's really there are in law something called de minimis violations, which means very, very small violations, baby violations. So I don't have to put my head into this too much. If the university is okay with it, you are okay.
Baby violation. I like
Yeah.
that. All right. I'm on H1B with approved I-140. If I convert to H4, should I go through the lottery process to get back to H1B?
Not at all. Not at all. So once the lottery is approved and you've gone through the H1B process, you are exempt from for at least 6 years, maybe a lot more.
Hmm. Hmm. And I just want to make a quick kind of announcement for the people who are asking. You have, I'm just going to put a link. You have to be on that webinar to ask the question. Because that questions are like kind of popping up first before the YouTube question for me as a host. So that's why I'm posting those questions before the YouTube question. So
You're getting fancier and fancier in your old
I
age.
am.
What's
Yeah, yeah. I want to start doing the like a radio show with you. So that'll be fun.
But how would I look pretty in that? So
I mean, we'll still stream it,
okay,
right? So
it's all about looks with me, man.
your voice is also pretty.
Yeah, sure. चने के झाड़ पे.
uh, I can't wait to be your neighbor. It'll be fun.
Sure.
Okay. I'm planning to travel to India for H1B visa stamping. I got my H1B from my last employer and recently joined the new company. Do I need to provide documentation proof from last employer? Hmm.
So Krishna ji, just remember one thing. If there is any gap in your status, for example, you didn't get paid, or there was any gap in your status, be absolutely truthful on your DS 160. They cannot deny your H1B visa if there is a gap in your status. No worries. But
Hmm.
if you lie about it, they can bar you from entering the US forever. Oh, by the way, I have a quick comment for people who worked with some of the companies that were under uh, scrutiny. Um, Integra was one of them.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not sure what exactly the deal was and where it went, but a lot of students got their um, permanent um, entry banned into the US or entry banned into the US permanently. However,
Hmm.
very interestingly, one of the students had a consultation with me last week. And she said to me, first time I went, they said, you can never come back to the US.
Hmm.
And second time when I went, they gave me the visa. It looks like the consulate realized that she had never worked for this company. She merely entered into an arrangement, but then never went forward and did anything. Okay.
Hmm.
So they resolved the situation. So some of you may want to take a look at your own facts if you have been stuck with this Integra kind of problem. Okay. Just thought I'll
Hmm.
mention that because it came to my mind. This happened last week. I was
Yeah.
very happy to hear that, by the way, because it's a draconian problem. And students have taken loans and they have to pay those loans back if they don't get a job here. How are they supposed to do it? And then all these companies come and they start these give them these attractive offers. Guys, just remember one rule: if an H1B employer, F1 employer, green card employer asks you to pay for some of these processes, it's probably almost always illegal.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
check with the lawyer. Do not get into that arrangement. If the company is acting so sleazily, you want to run away from them.
Yeah. There's also like something I've heard where there are companies who will give you offer letter to stop your OPT, and they will charge you like $1,000 for
Yeah,
that
that's
offer
what
letter.
that's what I was told that Integra was doing.
Mm.
And
Mm.
they had a rate list. If you want this, we'll give you 200. If you want that, I was like, holy cow. Yeah, they had a rate list. If you want pay stubs, we'll charge you 400. If you want this,
Wow, that is crazy. Mm.
these guys should be in prison. Anybody who breaks the law like that should be in prison.
Mm. Mm. All right, Shivi is asking, I have approved H1B and change of status is not done yet. I have y-
Which is
seven. Yeah, okay, so I think she's just
Can I
revising the
change my
question.
employer, work on STEM OPT and change of test? Yeah, yeah. Actually, sorry. Her question is a little different. So I've got my H1B approval, but I'm still on STEM OPT. Can I continue working on STEM OPT? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Can I change my employer? Sure. But as long as your old employer does not revoke your H1B, and even there, it's now questionable because you are past October 1st. So even the revocation of the H1B could survive. We don't know yet. Just make sure that your H1B is not revoked. Other than that,
Mm.
you're still on STEM OPT because you never got a change of status.
Yeah. Can I work as a freelancer on F1 visa for a Europe company?
Yeah, I don't think so, guys. I don't think so.
Mm.
But this is a guess. This is not a. It's an educated guess. Let's make it like that.
Yeah. All right. I'm on F1 student visa, graduating in May 2024. My Indian passport expires on 31st August 2024, and I need to renew it. How can I apply for EAD with two passport numbers, renewed and old? Can you please elaborate this process?
So immediately apply for expedited passport from the Indian consulate. I think they charge you something extra and they get it done quickly. So again,
Yeah.
as a professor, I can keep arguing. You could do this. You could. As a lawyer, I find solutions. I don't debate possibilities.
Yeah. Yeah. It took me 3 weeks to get the new
Yeah.
passport.
So
So
get an expedite done.
I was surprised how fast the Tatkal process is. Like it was just so easy. I
Modi
need
hai
to
to
make
move
a.
to hai.
All right. My question is, I am SES. What is SES? Oh, okay, I thought it was some sentence for 170 days, which is under 6 months, and the
Oh, it must be a criminal conviction
oh, okay.
or 1 year. Will this affect my? What you need to do, Jayaji, is I think you're okay, but whichever state the conviction occurred, you need to talk to a lawyer who does deportation defense called removal defense in that
Mm,
state. Okay. And I think they'll tell you that you're fine, but double check it. Do not take it for granted. And if it
mhm,
was any kind of intoxication, if you were drunk driving, um, you could have a lot of problem getting visa stamping done. So be very careful about this. If you had drunk driving kind of issue, first talk to a deportation lawyer in the state in which the conviction occurred. Then also talk to an immigration lawyer who does employment and business based immigration like we are. Um, Talk to them about the possibility of trouble at the consulate if you have
Mm,
a intoxication issue.
mm. I've been working remotely for a US LLC company for last 10 years. I want to apply for H1B through another company. Do you see any problem?
No, Manoharji, very impressive. You sitting in India, you're working for a US company. That's very impressive. Good job. But yeah, um, I see no problem.
I think
You
the
are not
question
bound to
is,
that.
does he get the US salary though?
Well, even that doesn't matter.
Eh, I mean, kind of, but
Yeah, but he's been working remotely from his home country where he can do whatever he wants. Okay. Modi hai to mumkin hai. He can do whatever he wants. Uh,
yeah, but like I think yes, yeah, I agree.
yeah. See, now, interesting thing would be, let's say I got my H1B. Okay.
Hmm,
I got my stamping done. But then the employer said, look, we can't really keep you on payroll. We'll give you a 1099 as an independent contractor. That
hmm,
becomes a little messy. I think he would still be okay. But if he didn't
hmm,
get a visa stamp, then I don't know how it would play out.
hmm,
He's never been
hmm.
on H1B. He's just working remotely.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, he's a man with a plan.
All right. My CPT employment ended on December 14. My OPT start date is 15th January 2024, and my company agreed to join me back on 15th January 2024. Great. They said they suspended my employment in payroll system and taken the laptop from me. Okay.
So let's look at this situation. First of all, whenever you apply for an OPT, there is a very delicate balance.
Hmm.
Your I-20 must have been issued no earlier than 30 days before you apply, and you must apply within 60 days of or 30 days, whatever it is, of completing your coursework. So as long as you're meeting all those requirements, the fact that you're getting rehired, that's not an issue at all.
Hmm.
I can't think of why it would be a problem, Monica. So
Yeah. Okay. It is. Oh, sorry. That was a repeat question. I got my first H1B in 2017, got it stamped in January 2018, renewed in 2020, but due to COVID and appointment backlog, didn't get the visa stamp. My question is, my
yeah,
H1B got renewed this year.
yeah, absolutely. Go for it, Kunal. You can get your H1B extended as well as stamped again. No problem.
Nice. Okay. Sir, should I apply for green card after completing my bachelor's or should I apply for master's degree or are there other options career wise if I want to pursue further in hospitality industry?
Why hospitality industry is a tough business, I tell you. I have seen people getting paid very low salaries and working
Mm.
18-hour days. It's a tough industry, very, very tough industry. Uh, but you do get to wear very good clothes and look pretty. I guess that counts for something. Um,
Depends on what you're doing in hospitality
well,
industry.
usually, unless you're working in the kitchen as a sous chef or something, you
Mm.
probably always look pretty. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, and you know that's a big thing with me. You might have heard that. So,
Yes, yes.
but it's Kabirji. We work with many hospitality industry companies and employers. Some of them are tourist resorts, huge tourist resorts, huge casinos, hotels. Um, Getting these visas can be complex. Um, because first of all, in the hospitality industry, we have to prove that you need a degree for this job. So, for example, when I started doing hospitality visas 25 years ago, it was impossible to get visas for like F&B manager, food and
Mm.
beverage manager.
Mm.
Government would come back and say, "Why do you need a degree for this?" Okay, but as situation evolved, we were able to prove more and more because that's pretty much a standard now in the industry. All the
Mm.
F&B managers have degrees, so we were able to prove that. Okay. Green cards also become complicated because is a degree really required? However, the good news is this industry has now settled down. We know going in what is going to happen. Okay. So your question, career wise, should you go into work? I think working is the best thing possible. Why? Because nothing supplements or replaces practical experience and the contacts you make in the industry. That's just
Yeah.
practical advice based
Agree.
upon what I see.
Agree.
It's not legal advice.
Yeah. Okay. I think we covered this, right? Uh, no, maybe. Okay. My employment end December 14. Authorization states. Yeah, I think we did. They didn't
No, it's
terminate in.
different. Three people had different questions about similar situations. So my employment end date was at December 14th. Authorization starts on January 15th, which is about a month later. Company agreed and gave joining letter from January 15th. So what you're worried about is just because I was on their payroll but not getting paid, am I violating status? The answer is no. Okay. In fact, even if you were getting paid but not working, you are not violating status. Somebody wants to give you free money, by all means take it. If you don't work for it, okay, UD is very generous. Every now and then you
Yes.
just go like this and just spread money around. Can you
100%.
take that money? Sure. But if he makes you work for it, if he says, come help me rake my lawn, don't take it. That's a violation of status.
I do need someone to rake my lawn, though.
Universal problem. That's why I said that.
Yeah. Should we explore EB1C route for green card instead of EB2 with priority date of January 2023? Ooh, January
Yeah.
2023? That's interesting.
Uh, yeah, you should, Bhatik. EB1C is always a good idea. Make sure before you take that 1 year of Banvas, um, make sure that you discuss the situation, your job description as it would be in your foreign country, let's say India. When you go to India, what would be your job description, job title? Discuss it with your lawyers. And then when you come back, what would be your job description in the US? Okay. Both these must meet certain criteria. Otherwise, you would have wasted that 1 year. Okay.
Hmm.
So some planning is needed before you go get these approved and blessed. Then you're good to go. Absolutely. EB1C is a good way to go.
Okay. Can I currently on F1 OPT visa volunteering in a non-profit organization as a full-time unpaid? Can I visit India for a few days and come back? Would I be stopped at US Port Authority while I come back when I'm on my.
Yeah, you need to have proof of maintaining status. You need to have proof of funds. They could ask for those things. I think it's a little risky, um, but because you never know what the Customs and Border Protection thinks of your status. However, theoretically at least, as long as you have proof that you have been working, and as long as you have proof that you have money to support yourself without getting paid, you could be okay. I can't guarantee it.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Sri Devi ji has rephrased it. I was in US on B2 earlier this year. In my H1B petition, it was mentioned as status change. Okay. Now I'm in India with approved H1B. Can I enter US on B2 and change the status to H1B? Ooh.
Yeah, but had you already left USA when the status change occurred? Because if you did, that status change is void. That doesn't mean anything. You do need an H1B visa stamp. Do not enter with a B2 stamp.
Mm, okay. Um, I filed my U visa petition. What is U visa?
Yeah, I
Uh,
don't do U visas. Victims of crime. So these are people who have had the misfortune to be stuck in a criminal situation, and they are helping the government prosecute the crime. It's actually a very good visa. We just don't do it because we did a couple of them and then we stopped doing them because chasing the local state police to get the verification from them, there are certain forms they have to fill out. It was a pain, and also we didn't have time. We were very busy during that time. Um,
mm,
so we don't do U visas, Ketuman. Sorry.
yeah. Okay. New Year, should I rely on my uncle who's planning to open his firm in USA and he's asking me to go through L1B visa category or master's route for permanent citizenship later? Oh,
L1B category is not very good. L1A is something we would like to see.
why is that? Why is L1B is not good?
So L1B does not lead to a green card. L1B you have to go through POM process.
Hmm. Okay,
So
got it. Just to clarify, I did not end my day one CPT day 1 day early. I ended my actual CPT as
does
master
that
student. Sorry, Dave. Maybe rephrase this whole
it's
thing
the same
again.
same situation there.
Yeah.
And there's no difference whether you ended your CPT or you ended your course. I mean, typically you can't continue with your CPT beyond your course.
Yeah. Um, I'll be graduating in Masters in Project Management next year, July. Should I apply for an OPT or if I have a sponsor for H1B, what are my chances for getting H1B accepted? Oh, okay.
So project management is not really a specialty occupation. Okay. Um, I know that people have won cases. How? I can't imagine. Because if the government was following its own policy, they would say project management um, is not a degree in a specific discipline. Just like they say for MBA, they say MBA is not a degree in a specific discipline, it's a generic degree. MBA in marketing, MBA in information systems, MBA in international relations. These are specific degrees. So project management, I am not sure. But what is your bachelor's degree? You have a degree in mechanical engineering, for example. So that could work. So you need to project management. Should I apply for an OPT? You should apply for an OPT. Um, Apply for an OPT and apply for an H1B after you got your OPT. That way, at least you have your ground. You have a fallback position.
Yeah. But what about like technical project manager who are like very focused on like
See,
software, agile, and all that stuff?
if you are talking about agile, okay,
Hmm.
agile is the methodology, right?
Yeah.
It is not in a specific discipline. You could be working in agile methodology in any discipline, right?
Yeah.
So therefore, to say that agile methodology requires a specific degree is silly. However, what if you were an IT project manager?
Yeah. Yeah. Like that's what I meant. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
IT project
Or
manager
what if you
or
were
supply chain.
supply chain engineering? Supply chain people have a lot of difficulty, actually, lot of struggle.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So logisticians are okay. Sometimes I'm able to get people in as logisticians, but we always have to worry about what is the latest thinking of the government in each of these professions. These are red mark professions. Even
Mm.
accountants. Sometimes I have difficulty getting accountants through. Okay, you
Wow.
got to be
Okay.
careful. If you have a
Yeah.
degree in finance, can you really do? Oh, financial analyst, another category. You never know which way it's going to go. So there are many categories. Over 33 years of working with these different categories, I can tell you where we need to be cautious. We need to make sure that we have a position that we can defend. Don't
Mm.
just fill the forms and file the paperwork.
Mm. Is it last 5 minutes now?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay. My non-profit is applying for H1B through consulting firm. They will apply for cap H1B. Is this valid? If I get selected, what are the next step?
You should talk to your lawyers because if they are doing it, they must have a reason for it. Maybe they don't have the budget to hire you. As long as you don't do multiple applications, you should be okay doing this. Um, is this valid? Sure, sure. So remember one more thing: cap exempt can always apply for cap, even though they are cap exempt. That's not a problem.
Hmm. I want to come to United States to study in Ivy League school. I heard the pathway to green card is very challenging. What should I do if I want to get green card easily? Hmm.
It's not an easy question to answer, Tejas. It's look, you have to assess the pros and cons of coming to the US. You like the lifestyle, you're willing to um, spend the time it takes to get a green card. Because remember, ultimately, you do get a green card. It might take 10 years or more. And you are working in the meantime if you get selected in the H1B. So I think a lot depends upon the kind of visa you get into. Now, I am looking with great hope at the list of critical and emerging technologies. Let me see what the government, what USCIS policies uh, change, and if they are trying to attract the talent in advanced computing, quantum computing, um, advanced manufacturing processes. There are so many different areas, blockchain technologies, what they call distributed ledgers, networking technologies, cybersecurity. There are so many. You should web search that a list of critical and emerging technologies, and you will see that those technologies, I think, have a better future coming forward within STEM, and some of them are actually non-STEM, if I remember correctly. I think so. Okay.
Okay, one last controversial, juicy question.
Mhm.
How is it that illegal immigrants are given green cards while legal immigrants have to wait thousands of years to go through lottery? What is the justification from USCIS?
Yeah, what you're talking about is, look, this is USA. This country belongs to US citizens. You are a guest. I was a guest. For me to come and say, treat me in a certain way, it's a little bit of a chutzpah. Of course, you can make arguments why you are making that demand. So that's one thing. Second thing, why are certain categories treated differentially, certain other categories? The problem is not that your category is treated differently. The problem is you were born in a country with 1.4 billion people. So if you were born in another country, so it's the entire structure of US immigration laws that's a problem. And also the third thing you need to remember is that immigration laws, the policy is extremely scattered. If our policy is to get skilled workers, people who are specialized in this country, we should have a very different policy, but we don't.
Hmm.
And the reason we will not have it until Democrats have all the two houses in the legislature and the White House, it's not going to happen. Unfortunately, I don't see any indications on the Republican side of educated people winning. Um, Most of these people are dogmatic. Very
Yeah.
difficult to, and actually, to be honest, um, in some ways, I don't really have skin in the game. I would like to do what is best for the US. If there is indeed a bipartisan study that says H1Bs are not good for US, I do away with them. I'm okay with that. But nobody really knows. We're just making guesses. Is that how you do policy? But
Hmm. Yeah.
that's the nature of the world we live in. Okay.
Okay. I know Rajiv ji has to leave. Tomorrow, next week we are on. It's Christmas week. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All
All
right.
right.
Thank you, Rajiv ji. For everyone else, I'm posting a link to register. So please register because then your questions will pop up. See you, Rajiv ji. Yeah, again, everyone, the link is just posted. So make sure to register because those are the questions pops up first for me from this view. You don't see this view. You just see me and him. But all right, have fun. Hopefully, you are enjoying your Christmas break. I don't know if you are or not, but hopefully you are. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you soon. Bye.